Chapters 11 through 20 of the Book of Jeremiah from the World English Bible. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by J. A. Carter, www.pleonic.com. The Book of Jeremiah from the World English Bible, chapters 11 through 20. Chapter 11. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, "Hear you the words of this covenant, and speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And say you to them, Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, Cursed be the man who doesn't hear the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the iron furnace, saying, Obey my voice, and do them according to all which I command you. So you shall be my people, and I will be your God, that I may establish the oath which I swore to your fathers, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as at this day." Then answered I and said, "Amen, Yahweh." Yahweh said to me, "Proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, Hear you the words of this covenant, and do them. For I earnestly protested to your fathers in the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, even to this day, rising early and protesting, saying, Obey my voice. Yet they didn't obey, nor turn their ear, but walked every one in the stubbornness of their evil heart. Therefore I brought on them all the words of this covenant which I commanded them to do, but they didn't do them." Yahweh said to me, "A conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, who refused to hear my words. And they are gone after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will bring evil on them, which they shall not be able to escape, and they shall cry to me, but I will not listen to them. Then shall the cities of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry to the gods to which they offer incense, but they will not save them at all in the time of their trouble. For according to the number of your cities are your gods, Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have you set up altars to the shameful thing, even altars to burn incense to Baal. Therefore don't you pray for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry to me because of their trouble. What has my beloved to do in my house, seeing she has worked lewdness with many, and the holy flesh is passed from you? When you do evil, then you rejoice. Yahweh called your name a green olive tree, beautiful with goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult he has kindled fire on it, and its branches are broken. For Yahweh of armies, who planted you, has pronounced evil against you, because of the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have worked for themselves in provoking me to anger by offering incense to Baal. Yahweh gave me knowledge of it, and I knew it. Then you showed me their doings. But I was like a gentle lamb that is led to the slaughter, and I didn't know that they had devised devices against me, saying, Let us destroy the tree with its fruit, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. But Yahweh of armies, who judges righteously, who tests the heart and the mind, I shall see your vengeance on them, for to you have I revealed my cause. Therefore thus says Yahweh concerning the men of Anathoth, who seek your life, saying, You shall not prophesy in the name of Yahweh, that you not die by our hand. Therefore thus says Yahweh of armies, Behold, I will punish them. The young men shall die by the sword, their sons and their daughters shall die by famine, and there shall be no remnant to them, for I will bring evil on the men of Anathoth, even the year of their visitation. Chapter 12. Righteous are you, Yahweh, when I contend with you. Yet would I reason the cause with you. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why are all they at ease who deal very treacherously? You have planted them, yes, they have taken root. They grow, yes, they bring forth fruit. You are near in their mouth and far from their heart. But you, Yahweh, know me. You see me, and try my heart toward you. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter, and prepare them for the day of slaughter. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of the whole country wither? For the wickedness of those who dwell therein, the animals are consumed, and the birds, because they said, 'He shall not see our latter end.' If you have run with the footmen, and they have wearied you, then how can you contend with horses? And though in a land of peace you are secure, how will you do in the pride of the Jordan? For even your brothers and the house of your father, even they have dealt treacherously with you, even they have cried aloud after you. Don't believe them, though they speak beautiful words to you. I have forsaken my house, I have cast off my heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. My heritage is become to me as a lion in the forest. She has uttered her voice against me, therefore I have hated her. Is my heritage to me as a speckled bird of prey? Are the birds of prey against her all around? Go you, assemble all the animals of the field, bring them to devour. Many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion under foot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. They have made it desolation. It mourns to me, being desolate. The whole land is made desolate, because no man lays it to heart. Destroyers are come on all the bare heights in the wilderness. For the sword of Yahweh devours, from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land. No flesh has peace. They have sown wheat and have reaped thorns. They have put themselves to pain and profit nothing. And you shall be ashamed of your fruits, because of the fierce anger of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh against all my evil neighbours, who touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them up from their land, and will pluck up the house of Judah from among them. It shall happen, after that I have plucked them up, I will return and have compassion on them, and I will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land. It shall happen, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, as Yahweh lives, even as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall they be built up in the midst of my people. But if they will not hear, then will I pluck up that nation, plucking up and destroying it, says Yahweh. Chapter 13. Thus says Yahweh to me, Go and buy you a linen belt, and put it on your waist, and don't put it in water. So I bought a belt, according to the word of Yahweh, and put it on my waist. The word of Yahweh came to me the second time, saying, Take the belt that you have bought, which is on your waist, and arise, go to the Euphrates, and hide it there in a cleft of the rock. So I went and hid it by the Euphrates, as Yahweh commanded me. It happened after many days that Yahweh said to me, Arise, go to the Euphrates, and take the belt from there which I commanded you to hide there. Then I went to the Euphrates, and dug, and took the belt from the place where I had hid it. And behold, the belt was marred, it was profitable for nothing. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Thus says Yahweh, After this manner will I mar the pride of Judah, and the great pride of Jerusalem. This evil people, who refuse to hear my words, who walk in the stubbornness of their heart, and are gone after other gods to serve them and to worship them, shall even be as this belt, which is profitable for nothing. For as the belt cleaves to the waist of a man, so have I caused to cleave to me the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Judah, says Yahweh, that they may be to me for a people, and for a name, and for a praise, and for a glory. But they would not hear. Therefore you shall speak to them this word. Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, Every bottle shall be filled with wine. And they shall tell you, Do we not certainly know that every bottle shall be filled with wine? Then you shall tell them, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will fill all the inhabitants of this land, even the kings who sit on David's throne, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, with drunkenness. I will dash them one against another, even the fathers and the sons together, says Yahweh. I will not pity, nor spare, nor have compassion, that I should not destroy them. Hear you, and give ear, don't be proud, for Yahweh has spoken. Give glory to Yahweh your God before he cause darkness, and before your feet stumble on the dark mountains, and while you look for light he turn it into the shadow of death, and make it gross darkness. But if you will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret for your pride, and my eyes shall weep sore, and run down with tears, because Yahweh's flock is taken captive. Say you to the King and to the Queen Mother, Humble yourselves, sit down, for your head dresses are come down, even the crown of your glory. The cities of the south are shut up, and there is none to open them. Judah is carried away captive, all of it. It is wholly carried away captive. Lift up your eyes and see those who come from the north. Where is the flock that was given you, your beautiful flock? What will you say when he shall set over you as head those whom you have yourself taught to be friends to you? Shall not sorrows take hold of you, as of a woman in travail? If you say in your heart, 'Why are these things come on me?' For the greatness of your iniquity are your skirts uncovered, and your heels suffer violence. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may you also do good, who are accustomed to do evil. Therefore will I scatter them, as the stubble that passes away by the wind of the wilderness. This is your lot, the portion measured to you from me, says Yahweh, because you have forgotten me, and trusted in falsehood. Therefore will I also uncover your skirts on your face, and your shame shall appear. I have seen your abominations, even your adulteries and your neighing, the lewdness of your prostitution on the hills and the field. Woe to you, Jerusalem! You shall not be made clean. How long shall it yet be? Chapter 14. The word of Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the drought. Judah mourns, and its gates languish. They sit in black on the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Their nobles send their little ones to the waters. They come to the cisterns and find no water. They return with their vessels empty. They are disappointed and confounded, and cover their heads. Because of the ground which is cracked, because no rain has been in the land, the ploughmen are disappointed. They cover their heads. Yes, the hind also in the field calves and forsakes her young, because there is no grass. The wild donkeys stand on the bare heights. They pant for air like jackals. Their eyes fail, because there is no herbage. Though our iniquities testify against us, work you for your name's sake, Yahweh. For our backslidings are many. We have sinned against you. You hope of Israel, its Saviour in the time of trouble. Why should you be as a foreigner in the land, and as a wayfaring man who turns away to stay for a night? Why should you be like a scared man, as a mighty man who can't save? Yet you, Yahweh, are in the midst of us, and we are called by your name. Don't leave us. Thus says Yahweh to this people. Even so have they loved to wander. They have not refrained their feet. Therefore Yahweh does not accept them. Now he will remember their iniquity and visit their sins. Yahweh said to me, "Don't pray for this people, for their good. When they fast, I will not hear their cry, and when they offer burnt offering and meal offering, I will not accept them. But I will consume them by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence." Then said I, "Ah, Lord Yahweh, behold, the prophets tell them, 'You shall not see the sword, neither shall you have famine, but I will give you assured peace in this place.'" Then Yahweh said to me, "The prophets prophesy lies in my name. I didn't send them, neither have I commanded them, neither spoke I to them. They prophesy to you a lying vision and divination, and a thing of nothing, and the deceit of their own heart. Therefore thus says Yahweh concerning the prophets who prophesy in my name, and I didn't send them, yet they say sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. The people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters, for I will pour their wickedness on them. You shall say this word to them: 'Let my eyes run down with tears night and day, and let them not cease, for the virgin daughter of my people is broken with a great breach, with a very grievous wound.' If I go forth into the field, then behold the slain with the sword. And if I enter into the city, then behold those who are sick with famine. For both the prophet and the priest go about in the land and have no knowledge. Have you utterly rejected Judah? Has your soul loathed Zion? Why have you struck us, and there is no healing for us? We looked for peace, but no good came, and for a time of healing, and behold, dismay. We acknowledge, Yahweh, our wickedness, and the iniquity of our fathers, for we have sinned against you. Do not abhor us for your name's sake. Do not disgrace the throne of your glory. Remember, don't break your covenant with us. Are there any among the vanities of the nations that can cause rain, or can the sky give showers? Aren't you He, Yahweh our God? Therefore we will wait for you, for you have made all these things. Chapter 15. Then said Yahweh to me, "Though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind would not be toward this people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. It shall happen, when they tell you, 'Where shall we go forth?' then you shall tell them, 'Thus says Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for captivity to captivity. I will appoint over them 4 kinds, says Yahweh, the sword to kill, and the dogs to tear, and the birds of the sky and the animals of the earth to devour and to destroy. I will cause them to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. For who will have pity on you, Jerusalem? Or who will bemoan you? Or who will turn aside and ask of your welfare? You have rejected me, says Yahweh. You are gone backward. Therefore have I stretched out my hand against you and destroyed you. I am weary with repenting. I have winnowed them with a fan in the gates of the land. I have bereaved them of children. I have destroyed my people. They didn't return from their ways. Their widows are increased to me above the sand of the seas. I have brought on them against the mother of the young men a destroyer at noonday. I have caused anguish and terrors to fall on her suddenly. She who has borne 7 languishes. She has given up the spirit. Her sun is gone down while it was yet day. She has been disappointed and confounded, and the residue of them will I deliver to the sword before their enemies, says Yahweh. Woe is me, my mother, that you have borne me a man of strife and a man of contention to the whole earth. I have not lent, neither have men lent to me, yet every one of them does curse me. Yahweh said, "Most certainly I will strengthen you for good. Most certainly I will cause the enemy to make supplication to you in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. Can one break iron, even iron from the north, and brass? Your substance and your treasuries will I give for a spoil without price, and that for all your sins, even in all your borders. I will make them to pass with your enemies into a land which you don't know, for a fire is kindled in my anger, which shall burn on you." Yahweh, you know. Remember me and visit me, and avenge me of my persecutors. Don't take me away in your long-suffering. Know that for your sake I have suffered reproach. Your words were found, and I ate them, and your words were to me a joy and the rejoicing of my heart, for I am called by your name, Yahweh, God of armies. I didn't sit in the assembly of those who make merry, nor rejoiced. I sat alone because of your hand, for you have filled me with indignation. Why is my pain perpetual, and my wound incurable, which refuses to be healed? Will you indeed be to me as a deceitful brook, as waters that fail? Therefore thus says Yahweh, "If you return, then I will bring you again, that you may stand before me. And if you take forth the precious from the vial, you shall be as my mouth. They shall return to you, but you shall not return to them. I will make you to this people a fortified bronze wall, and they shall fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you. For I am with you to save you and to deliver you, says Yahweh. I will deliver you out of the hand of the wicked, and I will redeem you out of the hand of the terrible." Chapter 16. The word of Yahweh came also to me, saying, "You shall not take a wife, neither shall you have sons or daughters in this place. For thus says Yahweh concerning the sons and concerning the daughters who are born in this place, and concerning their mothers who bore them, and concerning their fathers who became the father of them in this land. They shall die grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. They shall be as dung on the surface of the ground, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their dead bodies shall be food for the birds of the sky and for the animals of the earth. For thus says Yahweh, don't enter into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, neither bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, says Yahweh, even loving kindness and tender mercies. Both great and small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men break bread for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or their mother. You shall not go into the house of feasting, to sit with them, to eat and drink. For thus says Yahweh of Armies, the God of Israel, Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place, before your eyes and in your days, the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. It shall happen, when you shall show this people all these words, and they shall tell you, Why has Yahweh pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against Yahweh our God? Then you shall tell them, Because your fathers have forsaken me, says Yahweh, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. And you have done evil more than your fathers. For behold, you walk every one after the stubbornness of his evil heart, so that you don't listen to me. Therefore will I cast you forth out of this land, into the land that you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, and there you shall serve other gods, day and night, for I will show you no favour. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, As Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but as Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the countries where he had driven them. I will bring them again into their land that I gave to their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishermen, says Yahweh, and they shall fish them up. And afterward I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the clefts of the rocks. For my eyes are on all their ways. They are not hidden from my face, neither is their iniquity concealed from my eyes. First I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have polluted my land with the carcasses of their detestable things, and have filled my inheritance with their abominations. Yahweh, my strength and my stronghold and my refuge in the day of affliction, to you shall the nations come from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Our fathers have inherited nothing but lies, even vanity, and things in which there is no profit. Shall a man make to himself gods which yet are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will cause them to know, this once will I cause them to know, my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. Chapter 17. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is engraved on the tablet of their heart and on the horns of your altars, while their children remember their altars and their Asherim by the green trees on the high hills. My mountain in the field I will give your substance and all your treasures for a spoil, and your high places because of sin throughout all your borders. You, even of yourself, shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you, and I will cause you to serve your enemies in the land which you don't know. For you have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn for ever. Thus says Yahweh, Cursed is the man who trusts in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from Yahweh. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, a salt land, and not inhabited. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yahweh, and whose trust Yahweh is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, who spreads out its roots by the river, and shall not fear when heat comes, but its leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things, and it is exceedingly corrupt. Who can know it? I, Yahweh, search the mind, I try the heart, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. As the partridge that sits on eggs which she has not laid, so is he who gets riches, and not by right. In the midst of his days they shall leave him, and at his end he shall be a fool. A glorious throne, set on high from the beginning, is the place of our sanctuary. Yahweh, the hope of Israel, all who forsake you shall be disappointed. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken Yahweh, the spring of living waters. Heal me, O Yahweh, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for you are my praise. Behold, they tell me, Where is the word of Yahweh? Let it come now. As for me, I have not hurried from being a shepherd after you, neither have I desired the woeful day. You know. that which came out of my lips was before your face. Don't be a terror to me. You are my refuge in the day of evil. Let them be disappointed who persecute me, but let not me be disappointed. Let them be dismayed, but don't let me be dismayed. Bring on them the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Thus said Yahweh to me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, through which the kings of Judah come in and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and tell them, Hear you the word of Yahweh, you kings of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Thus says Yahweh, Take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day holy. Neither do any work, but make the Sabbath day as I commanded your fathers. But they didn't listen, neither turned their ear, but made their necks stiff, that they might not hear and might not receive instruction. It shall happen, if you diligently listen to me, says Yahweh, and bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but to make the Sabbath day holy, to do no work therein, then shall there enter in by the gates of this city kings and princes sitting on the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain for ever. They shall come from the cities of Judah, and from the places around Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the lowland, and from the hill country, and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices and meal offerings and frankincense, and bringing sacrifices of thanksgiving to the house of Yahweh. But if you will not listen to me to make the Sabbath day holy, and not to bear a burden and enter in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in its gates, and shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. Chapter 18. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Arise, and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause you to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he was making a work on the wheels. When the vessel that he made of the clay was marred in the hand of the potter, he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, House of Israel, can't I do with you as this potter? Says Yahweh. Behold, as the clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, House of Israel. At what instant I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck up and break down and to destroy it, if that nation concerning which I have spoken turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil that I thought to do to them. At what instant I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to build and to plant it, if they do that which is evil in my sight, that they not obey my voice, then I will repent of the good with which I said I would benefit them. Now therefore speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I frame evil against you, and devise a device against you. Return you now every one from his evil way, and amend your ways and your doings. But they say, It is in vain, for we will walk after our own devices, and we will do every one after the stubbornness of his evil heart. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, Ask you now among the nations, who has heard such things? The Virgin of Israel has done a very horrible thing. Shall the snow of Lebanon fail from the rock of the field, or shall the cold waters that flow down from afar be dried up? For my people have forgotten me. They have burned incense to false gods, and they have been made to stumble in their ways, in the ancient paths, to walk in byways, in a way not built up, to make their land an astonishment and a perpetual hissing. Every one who passes thereby shall be astonished and shake his head. I will scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I will show them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. Then said they, Come, and let us devise devices against Jeremiah. For the law shall not perish from the priest, or counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come, and let us strike him with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Give heed to me, Yahweh, and listen to the voice of those who contend with me. Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have dug a pit for my soul. Remember how I stood before you, to speak good for them, to turn away your wrath from them. Therefore deliver up their children to the famine, and give them over to the power of the sword, and let their wives become childless and widows, and let their men be slain of death, and their young men struck of the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses when you shall bring a troop suddenly on them, for they have dug a pit to take me, and hid snares for my feet. Yet, Yahweh, you know all their counsel against me to kill me. Don't forgive their iniquity, neither blot out their sin from your sight, but let them be overthrown before you. Deal you with them in the time of your anger. Chapter 19. Thus said Yahweh: Go and buy a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the elders of the people and of the elders of the priests, and go forth to the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the gate Harseth, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell you, and say, Hear you the word of Yahweh, kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel: Behold, I will bring evil on this place which whoever hears, his ears shall tingle. Because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it to other gods that they didn't know, they and their fathers and the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents, and have built the high places of Baal to burn their sons in the fire for burnt offerings to Baal, which I didn't command, nor spoke it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that this place shall no more be called Topheth, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the Valley of Slaughter. I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hand of those who seek their life. And their dead bodies will I give to be food for the birds of the sky and for the animals of the earth. I will make this city an astonishment and a hissing. Every one who passes thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all its plagues. I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend, in the siege and in the distress with which their enemies and those who seek their life shall distress them. Then you shall break the bottle in the sight of the men who go with you, and shall tell them, Thus says Yahweh of armies, Even so will I break this people and this city, as one breaks a potter's vessel that can't be made whole again. And they shall bury in Topheth until there be no place to bury. Thus will I do to this place, says Yahweh, and to its inhabitants, even making this city as Topheth. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah which are defiled shall be as the place of Topheth, even all the houses on whose roofs they have burned incense to all the army of the sky, and have poured out drink offerings to other gods. Then came Jeremiah from Topheth, where Yahweh had sent him to prophesy. And he stood in the court of Yahweh's house, and said to all the people, Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring on this city and on all its towns all the evil that I have pronounced against it, because they have made their necks stiff, that they may not hear my words. Chapter 20. Now Pashur, the son of Emer, the priest, who was chief officer in the house of Yahweh, heard Jeremiah prophesying these things. Then Pashur struck Jeremiah the prophet, and put him in the stocks that were in the upper gate of Benjamin, which was in the house of Yahweh. It happened on the next day that Pashur brought forth Jeremiah out of the stocks. And then said Jeremiah to him, Yahweh has not called your name Pashur, but Magor-Missabib. For thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will make you a terror to yourself and to all your friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies, and your eyes shall see it. And I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall carry them captive to Babylon, and shall kill them with the sword. Moreover, I will give all the riches of this city, and all its gains, and all the precious things of it, yes, all the treasures of the kings of Judah will I give into the hand of their enemies, and they shall make them a prey, and take them and carry them to Babylon. You, Pashur, and all who dwell in your house shall go into captivity, and you shall come to Babylon, and there you shall die, and there you shall be buried, you and all your friends to whom you have prophesied falsely. Yahweh, you have persuaded me, and I was persuaded. You are stronger than I, and have prevailed. I am become a laughing-stock all the day. Every one mocks me. For as often as I speak, I cry out. I cry, Violence and destruction! Because the word of Yahweh is made a reproach to me, and a derision all the day. If I say, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, then there is in my heart, as it were, a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I am weary with forbearing, and I can't contain. For I have heard the defaming of many, terror on every side. Denounce, and we will denounce him, say all my familiar friends, those who watch for my fall. Peradventure he will be persuaded, and we shall prevail against him, and we shall take our revenge on him. But Yahweh is with me as an awesome mighty one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble, and they shall not prevail. They shall be utterly disappointed, because they have not dealt wisely, even with an everlasting dishonour, which shall never be forgotten. But Yahweh of armies, who tests the righteous, who sees the heart and the mind, let me see your vengeance on them, for to you have I revealed my cause. Sing to Yahweh, praise you, Yahweh, for he has delivered the soul of the needy from the hand of evildoers. Cursed be the day in which I was born. Don't let the day in which my mother bore me be blessed. Cursed be the man who brought news to my father, saying, 'A boy is born to you,' making him very glad. Let that man be as the cities which Yahweh overthrew and didn't repent. And let him hear a cry in the morning and shouting at noontime, because he didn't kill me from the womb. And so my mother would have been my grave, and her womb always great. Why came I forth out of the womb to see labour and sorrow, that my days should be consumed with shame?" End of chapters 11 through 20 of the Book of Jeremiah.